right, thank you very much, Ryan. We do want to update you, and we'll get to their player profiles in a second, but both Jalen Smith, the talented linebacker out of Fort Wayne, and Torrey Hunter Jr., the outstanding wide receiver from Prosper, Texas, have both just faxed in their letters of intent. So why don't we start with that? Talk about those two young men.
Well, let's start with Jalen. He's put together the Irish mob, as a lot of people have called it, and even those players that were part of that group that really solidified this class. He's been surrounding himself with great players. So not only do we recruit, and our coaches do a great job recruiting and make sure that we get a great class, the players start to recruit each other, and he's been that leader in this class. And he's just a terrific young man. He'll be a great representative of Notre Dame, and boy, can he play football. So it's going to be exciting.
Now, folks, under NCAA rules, Coach can't talk about anybody yet that hasn't been approved in terms of their letter of intent being approved. But big picture right now, as you look at the class and the young men who are either already enrolled or faxed in their letters, in terms of filling the needs you felt you needed to fill, how are you doing?
Well, this was really the first class that we've put together that encompasses the entire program from top to bottom. The first couple of years we had specific needs relative to our offensive structure and defensive structure. Now we're balancing out. This is the most balanced class we've had. It represents putting a football program together now with depth. So now this class puts us in a position to fill the depth needs that we've had across the board.
For you, how has recruiting for Notre Dame changed since when you first started?
Well, I think the message and 12-0, regular season, certainly the loss to Alabama still stings, but we can go into homes now and say you can get an incredible education and you can play for a championship, and we've done that. So that certainly resonates. But I think more than anything else, the message of why you come to Notre Dame has really taken hold across the country. Faith-based education. You're going to be living in a community on campus, a vibrant community. And third, you're going to get an incredible education. And those things have really taken hold for us.
Since we have the luxury of chatting for a little while here,
Yep.
let's run down
Sure.
the other young men who have faxed in their letters so far. Let's start with Devin Butler, defensive back out of Washington, D.C.
Well, Gonzaga High School, just a great high school, great predictor school in the sense that he's been in a similar environment that he'll see here at Notre Dame. So we obviously like that about the student athletes that we recruit. Secondly, a very talented defensive back, a pure defensive back. He's played the position. He's not a guy that would move to another position. We really like his ability because of his length as well. He's not a shorter corner. He fits that profile. And just a great young man that we think has got a big upside.
Colin McGovern, the offensive lineman out of New Lenox, Illinois, has just faxed in his letter. That's been approved. Talk about him.
Well, again, the offensive line was such a great need in terms of depth for us. And we liked Colin from the very beginning. We've had him in camp. When you have the luxury of a camp where kids can come out and compete, you can see him firsthand. I think when we saw him live and in person, that's when we were really impressed with him. He'll be a physical inside player for us on the offensive line. And we think that, again, from our standpoint, we've seen him in action and really liked what we saw.
Michael Deeb, linebacker out of Florida.
Just loves to play the game of football. You want, one of these kids that his energy is infectious around the locker room, on the field, and he's a heck of a football player. Playing in the inside linebacker position, he's got a nose for the football. He understands the game very well. And here too is a guy that got a chance to work out for us and be part of our camps and be able to see him in that kind of environment where you got to compete, play in and play out. And so. Really like Michael and the energy that he brings.
Steve Elmer, offensive lineman of Midland, Michigan, early enrollee. Had a chance to chat with him. I know he's fired up about being here.
Well, just a special young man. He graduates early, top of his class, comes to Notre Dame. He's excelling here as well. Just a really special young man, as well as an incredibly gifted offensive lineman. We think arguably the best in the country. And again, can play that tackle position. We wanted somebody that could be that right or left tackle, and Steve's going to be able to move into that position and really begin to compete right away.
William Fuller, wide receiver out of Philadelphia.
I think, Will, we feel like if there's a guy that flew under the radar a little bit, we think it's Will Fuller. We love his acceleration and speed, but the one thing that you'll know about Will, he has great ball skills. He never breaks stride to catch the football. It's easy for him to catch footballs, and we really were looking for that speed threat that had great ball skills. And he's a great young man from the city of Philadelphia, and it was nice to be able to get into the Catholic schools in Philadelphia and get a young man like Will.
I think your fax machine may be overheating right now. Greg Bryan has just faxed in his letter. He's approved. He's a running back out of Delray Beach, Florida.
Well, that's a good one to have in. Greg is an integral part of this class, the running back, as you know, with the, losing Sierra Wood and certainly Theo. Now we have some obviously need at that position, and Greg's more than just a need fit. He's an explosive player. He can run between the tackles, and what we really liked about him is his physical skill set, and that he can catch the football, he can block, and again is strong enough that he can run inside the tackles. And we were looking for that kind of guy, and we think he'll be a great complement to the backs that we already have.
Certainly Mike Hireman, tight end out of Naples, Florida, another early enrollee. Guy who played hockey, something in common with you.
Those hockey players, he just, here's another guy that's been a great leader in putting this class together. Mike has been on board from day one. He's going to be a leader on our football team. He also is a tight end that plays with the kind of passion that we like tight ends to play with. He's a guy that can catch the football. He finishes his blocks. He's a physical player. Now we just got to get him in the weight room and continue to develop him. But he's going to be a really good football player for us.
Rashad Kinlaw, defensive back out of Galloway, New Jersey.
Yeah, and Rashad is a young man that played quarterback, but we saw him as somebody that had a unique skill set, and that we could look at getting somebody at the cornerback position that's got great size. And the one thing you'll notice about him is that at the cornerback position, 6 foot, 6'1", those are uncommon. We think he's got a great burst. He's athletic, and we really like this young man. And he'll come in and begin to develop on the defensive side of the ball.
Ohio's always been a great state for Notre Dame, and Jacob Matuska, defensive lineman out of Columbus, is coming to Notre Dame.
Yeah, Jake, he's a guy that could play on either side of the ball. He could play tight end. He's a defensive end for us, and what we like about him is that he's played in winning programs. Very successful football program, and he knows how to win. And he's somebody that's going to help our football team. We're going to use him defensively, and that will be where he begins his career. But again, we like his size, his strength, smarts. He's got a complete package, and again, we've got great flexibility there with him.
Another outstanding young offensive lineman, Mike McGlinchey out of Philadelphia.
Yeah, Mike is probably 6'7", 6'8", long, athletic. He's played tight end. Clearly the thing is his upside is incredible because of his size right now. But he also plays with a passion. He likes the action, and sometimes these big guys don't play quite as physical. That's not the case here. He's got that size that you want, and he's a very physical player, and really like Michael a lot.
Another offensive lineman, John Montelis, out of your hometown, actually.
That's
Everett,
right.
Massachusetts.
It was nice to get the boys from Massachusetts on board. It's been a career for me where we haven't had anybody from Massachusetts, so it's nice to get them. But more importantly, this is a guy that plays, at Everett High School. It's arguably the best program now for some time in the state of Massachusetts. They run a great program. He already knows about how to be coached and the things necessary to be a champion, and he's just a physical presence inside, strong. He plays some tackle. We're going to move him inside. I think the thing that stands out about John is that he's got the kind of size that people talk about. When you dominate on the offensive line, you need guys like John Montelis. And I know Coach Heastant's excited about him as well. And all of these guys on the offensive line are going to provide the depth necessary for us to keep our program moving.
Good to see that Cretin-Durham St. Paul pipeline still running with James Onwalu, pretty good wide receiver.
Yeah, he's a special young man. I could go on and on about these young men. They're just special kids. And here's a kid that is the first to ever graduate early from a great school in Cretin-Durham. And, Michael Floyd, obviously from the same high school. But James has his own path that he has, really laid out there in the sense that academically he's done a great job. but he's also a guy that can play both sides of the ball, and he excelled in doing so. We want him on the offensive side of the ball. We love his speed, his ability to catch the football. But again, he gives us great versatility. And again, one of our original Irish Mob guys helped put this class together as well.
Linebacker Doug Randolph out of Richmond.
Doug is a very gifted young man in that he plays lacrosse as well, and he's a two-sport player, and he could easily be a three-sport player, at the college level. And so here you got a young man that's 6'3", 6'4", plays on the outside, is a perfect fit in our 3-4 defense, and has such great athletic ability. So, great student, great family. Again, I know I've used the same words over and over and over, but these are the best of the best in the country.
And I mean, you have to be a fit for here.
Absolutely.
And by the fact you're using the same words means you're getting guys that fit.
There's no question. I mean, at Notre Dame, when we talked about our distinctions earlier with the message resonating, they have to embrace those as well, and they want to be part of Notre Dame's distinction. So that's what's nice about putting a class together like this.
Corey Robinson, wide receiver out of San Antonio with a rather famous dad. Do you find that young men that come from families who have excelled athletically also have a tendency to excel?
Well, here's what I know, that they have parents that have really instilled those values that are necessary to be successful because they've been successful. So they're in that environment and on a day-to-day basis. So whether they're superstars or not, they're doing it the right way every day.
We're almost through the list. Isaac Rochelle out of McDonough, Georgia, defensive lineman.
Isaac, again, is a young man who played on a state championship team. And he really, for me, is one of those defensive linemen that has not got enough attention, and we're happy about that. We think we've got a young man that is really going to excel, and it'll be one of those, where'd you get that kid? That's how I look at Isaac. He can rush the passer. He can certainly impact the run game with his size, but he's going to be an instrumental player in Notre Dame's success. And again, just a great young man from a great school, and he's already won a state championship.
And quarterback Malik Zaire, Kettering, Ohio, looks like a perfect fit for your system.
Oh, he can do the things that we want our quarterbacks to do. He's first of all, what I love about him is he was up here last year during spring and saw the quarterbacks that we had, and didn't shy away from that competition. So at the very outset, you could be scared away and not wanting to come to Notre Dame. He's not. He believes he's going to come in here and he's going to be the starting quarterback. And you got to love that about a young man, because we want that competition. We want those young men that want to push and be on the field. He's got the ability to throw the ball. He can run. He's physical. He's already 190-plus pounds. And the thing I love about him is he's a very smart kid. I mean, he's already, trying to get in the playbook. As a mid-year enrollee, he's got to have a lot on the ball just to be able to graduate early like he did. And we're really excited about him.
I know it's a really busy morning for you. Thanks for carving out so much time.
Oh, my
Thanks
pleasure.
For stopping by.
Great.
Of course, Coach will be back in here at noon for his official press conference, and he'll join us again right before that here on our recruiting show. Ryan, back to you.